Write the values of the square root of I. If z is a complex number, we have square root of z is equal to plus or minus under root of mod z plus real part of z upon 2 plus I times of root over mod z minus real part of z upon 2. This is when imaginary part of z is positive, and we can also write this plus or minus under root of mod z plus real part of z upon 2 minus I times root over mod of z minus real part of z upon 2. This is when imaginary part of z is less than 0. So here in this problem, we need the square root of I. So I can be written as 0 plus 1 times of I. 0 plus 1 I. And modulus of I is equal to root over 0 square plus 1 square. Since mod z is equal to root over a square plus b square when z is equal to a plus ib. Okay. So we can write here root over 0 square plus 1 square, that is 1 we can take. So modulus of I is 1. Therefore root over I is equal to, and since the imaginary part is positive, so imaginary part is positive, so let us consider the first case and let us substitute plus or minus under root of modulus of z means modulus of I, that is 1, plus real part of, here the real part of I is 0, so we can write 1 plus 0 upon 2 plus I times root over modulus of z, that is 1 minus 0 upon 2. So we can write this as plus or minus, this is 1 upon root 2, we can add 1 by root 2 plus again I upon root 2. So we can take out 1 plus or minus 1 upon root 2 common, and we had 1 plus I. Therefore square root of I is nothing but plus or minus 1 upon root 2 of 1 plus I. Okay, right. Write the values of the square root of negative I minus I. Since we know that if z is a complex number, square root of z is equal to plus or minus under root of mod z plus real part of z upon 2 plus I times root over mod z minus real part of z upon 2 when imaginary part of z is positive, and we can write plus or minus under root of mod z plus real part of z upon 2 minus I times root over mod z minus real part of z upon 2 when imaginary part of z is negative. So here the complex number is given minus I, so which equals to, we can add this is 0 plus of minus 1 into I. So here the imaginary part is negative and the real part of this complex number is 0. So therefore the root of root of minus I, since the imaginary part is negative, so we'll consider the second case, so which is equal to plus or minus under root of mod z, its modulus of I is again, let me write here, modulus of minus I, which is equal to root over 0 square plus minus 1 square, that is 1 square is 1, which is equal to 1. So we can write mod of z is 1 plus real part of minus I, that is 0 upon 2, again minus I times root over 1 minus 0 upon 2. So which equals to plus or minus 1 upon root 2 minus I by root 2. So plus or minus 1 by root 2 if I take common, so you can write 1 minus I. Therefore square root of negative I is nothing but plus or minus 1 upon root of 1 minus I. Okay, right. Thank you. If x plus iy is equal to root over a plus ib upon c plus id, then write the value of x square plus y square whole square. So it's given x plus iy is equal to square root of a plus ib upon c plus id. So squaring on both sides, we can write x plus iy whole square is equal to a plus ib upon c plus id. Now let us take modulus on both the sides. Modulus on both the sides, so that we'll have modulus of x plus iy whole square is equal to modulus of a plus ib upon c plus id. And we had the property modulus of z power n is equal to mod z whole power n. Also, modulus of z1 upon z2 is equal to mod z1 upon modulus of z2. So that we can write here modulus of x plus iy whole square, we can write it as modulus of x plus iy whole square, we can write, and here modulus of a plus ib upon mod of c plus id. So thereby we can also write modulus of x plus iy is nothing but, since we know for z is equal to a plus ib, mod z is equal to root over a square plus b square. So modulus of x plus iy we can write it as root over x square plus y square whole square is equal to modulus of a plus ib is root over a square plus b square upon modulus of c plus id is root over c square plus d square. Now x square root over x square plus y square whole square, we can write x square plus y square, which is equal to root over a square plus b square upon c square plus d square the root. So again squaring on both sides, x square plus y square whole square is equal to, so we can write here a square plus b square upon c square plus d square. So the value of x square plus y square whole square is a square plus b square upon c square plus d square. Okay, thank you. If theta lies between pi and 2 pi and z is equal to 1 plus cos theta plus I sin theta, then write the value of mod z. Z is equal to 1 plus cos theta plus I sin theta. And since we know that 1 plus cos theta is equal to 2 cos square theta by 2, and sin theta is equal to 2 sin theta by 2 cos theta by 2. And here theta lies between pi and 2 pi. So where theta by 2 lies between pi by 2 and pi, it's in the second quadrant. So z is equal to, so we can add 1 plus cos theta is 2 cos square theta by 2 plus I sin theta is 2 sin theta by 2 cos theta by 2. So we can take out 2 cos theta by 2 common. So we had cos theta by 2 plus I times sin theta by 2. This is z. Now let us find the mod z. Mod z is equal to modulus of 2 cos theta by 2 into mod of, cos theta by 2 plus I sin theta by 2. So 2 is constant, we can bring outside, and mod of cos theta by 2 into modulus of cos theta by 2 plus I sin theta by 2. Since we know that modulus of z1 z2 is equal to mod z1 into mod z2, so which is equal to 2 times, and since theta by 2 belongs to the second quadrant, cos theta by 2 will be negative. Cos theta by 2 is negative, so we can consider mod of cos theta by 2 is minus cos theta by 2, minus cos theta by 2, and modulus of cos theta plus I sin theta. If z is equal to a plus ib, then mod z is equal to root over a square plus b square. So we can write here root over cos square theta by 2 plus sin square theta by 2. So cos square theta by 2 plus sin square theta by 2 for any angle, it is equals to 1. It's an identity. So we can write here, this is minus 2 cos theta by 2 into square root of 1, we'll consider 1 here. So that is minus 2 cos theta by 2 is the answer. So modulus of 1 plus cos theta plus I sin theta is minus 2 cos theta by 2. Okay, thank you. If n is any positive integer, write the value of I to the power of 4n plus 1 minus I to the power of 4n minus 1 upon 2. For I is equal to root of minus 1, so we have I square is equal to minus 1 and I power 4 is equal to 1, and also we had I to the power of 4n plus 1. It's the power of I when you divide with 4 and if it leaves the remainder 1, so you can write it as I, and I to the power of 4n plus 2, it leaves the remainder 2, so it is the same as I square, which is equal to minus 1, and when it leaves the remainder 3, that is I to the power of 4n plus 3, so we'll have I to the power of 3, which is minus I, and when it leaves no remainder, that is 4n, so we had 1. And also I to the power of 4n minus 1, we can write this as I to the power of 4n upon I to the power of 4n value is 1 upon I, so just multiply and divide with I here, so we'll get I upon I square is minus 1, I into I square is minus 1, so I upon minus 1 is minus I. So let us substitute these values here. So I to the power of 4n plus 1, which is nothing but I, minus I to the power of 4n minus 1 is minus I upon 2, so that is I minus of minus plus I upon 2, so we had 2I upon 2, so which is equal to I. So the answer is I. Okay, thank you. Write the value of I to the power of 592, 590 and so on 584 upon I to the power of 582 and so on up to I to the power of 574. They are like consecutive even powers, and let us use the concept I to the power of 4n, which is equal to 1, that is when any power of I is divided with 4, the remainder is 0, is 1. I to the power of 4n plus 1, which is equal to I, means the remainder is 1 here, I, and I to the power of 4n plus 2, when the remainder is 2, so we'll have I square, that is minus 1, when the remainder is 3, that is 4n plus 3, which equals to minus I. Now here in this problem, I to the power of 592, 590 and so on 584, the smallest number we can take out like common, I to the power of 584, if it is taken common. So I to the power of 592, we can add 584 plus 8. Otherwise, let me write one more step. I to the power of 584 into I to the power of 8. I to the power of 584 into I to the power of 6. Plus I to the power of 584 into I to the power of 2. So I to the power of 4. Plus I to the power of 584 into I to the power of 2. Plus I to the power of 584 in the numerator. Similarly, in the denominator, we can write I to the power of 580. The smallest number is 574. Let me write 574. So I to the power of 574 into I to the power of 8 plus I to the power of 574 into I to the power of 6, I to the power of 574 into I to the power of 4 plus I to the power of 574 into I to the power of 2 plus I to the power of 574. So that we can take out common the numerator I to the power of 584, and in the denominator we can take common I to the power of 574, so that in the numerator we are having I to the power of 8 plus I to the power of 6 plus I to the power of 4 plus I to the power of 2 plus 1, and in the denominator also we had I to the power of 8 plus I to the power of 6 plus I power 4 plus I square plus 1. So we can cancel this numerator and denominator, both are same. So I to the power of 584 upon 574 is nothing but I to the power of 584 minus 574. This is I to the power of 10. So what is I to the power of 10? When you divide with 4, so you can say here 4 into 2 plus 2, that is 4n plus 2 form. So in this form, so we had answer is minus 1. So the value of this I powers, this problem is minus 1. Okay, right. Thank you. Write 1 minus I in polar form. So we know that for a complex number z is equal to a plus ib, polar form is r cos theta, r of cos theta plus I sin theta, where r is the modulus of z and theta is the argument. Argument of complex number z. So when comparing 1 minus I, comparing with r cos theta plus r sin theta, I r sin theta, so we have r cos theta is equal to 1 and r sin theta is equal to minus 1. Also r is equal to mod z, which is equal to under root of 1 square plus minus 1 whole square, which is equal to 1 plus 1, this is root 2. So plus or minus root 2, but r is the length, modulus means it's a positive. Since r is positive, so we consider r is equal to root 2. And therefore r cos theta is equal to 1, that is root 2 cos theta is equal to 1, and root 2 sin theta is equal to minus 1. So which implies cos theta is equal to 1 upon root 2, which is positive, and sin theta is equal to minus 1 by root 2, which is negative. So cos theta is positive and sin theta is negative. So cos is positive in first quadrant and fourth quadrant, and sin is negative in third quadrant and fourth quadrant. So we can consider the common part is fourth quadrant. So in fourth quadrant, cos is positive and sin is positive. And cos theta is equal to 1 upon root 2. Let's find the principal value. Means acute angle, let us find. Cos theta is equal to cos pi by 4. Say alpha is equal to pi by 4, which is an acute angle. And hence, since theta belongs to the fourth quadrant, if it is a fourth quadrant, let me tell you here, if it is in the first quadrant we take alpha, in the fourth quadrant we'll take minus alpha, the second quadrant we take pi minus alpha, and in third quadrant we write minus pi plus alpha. So where alpha is an acute angle, so positive acute angle we can take. So theta belongs to the fourth quadrant, so we can write the answer theta is equal to, therefore theta is equal to minus alpha, that is minus pi by 4. Therefore 1 minus I we can write it as 1 minus I we can write it as r cos theta, r of what is r here, root 2 of cos of minus pi by 4 plus I sin of minus pi by 4. So we can write, so which is equal to root 2 of cos of minus theta is cos theta, so that is cos pi by 4 plus I sin of minus pi by 4 is minus I sin pi by 4. So this is polar form. So root 2 of cos pi by 4 minus I sin pi by 4 is the answer. Okay. Thank you. Write minus 1 plus I root 3 in polar form. So polar form of complex number, polar form of z is equal to a plus ib, we can write it as r of cos theta plus I sin theta. So comparing minus 1 plus I root 3 with r cos theta plus ri sin theta, I r sin theta. So we have r cos theta is equal to minus 1 and r sin theta is equal to root 3. Also r is equal to mod of z, that is root over minus 1 whole square plus root 3 whole square. So which is equal to minus 1 whole square is 1, root 3 whole square is 3. So root over 1 plus 3 is root 4. So we'll take plus or minus 2, but r is positive. Since r is positive, so we consider r is equal to plus 2. So r is equal to 2, so we can write 2 cos theta is equal to minus 1 and 2 sin theta is equal to root 3. Or we can write cos theta is equal to minus 1 by 2 and sin theta is equal to root 3 by 2. So cos theta is negative and sin theta is positive. Cos negative and sin positive means whereby we can say theta belongs to quadrant second. It's a second quadrant, and in second quadrant we will take the solution as pi minus alpha, where alpha is acute angle. Since sin theta is equal to root 3 by 2, so we can find the acute angle, that is pi by sin 60 degrees, that is pi by 3 is equal to root 3 by 2. So let us consider sin theta is equal to sin pi by 3. So take alpha is equal to pi by 3, which is an acute angle. Alpha is equal to pi by 3 is an acute angle, and since we know that if alpha is an acute angle, in second quadrant it will be pi minus alpha, third quadrant minus pi plus alpha, and fourth quadrant minus alpha. And since our angle theta belongs to the quadrant 2, so we can write theta is equal to pi minus pi by 3, that is 2 pi by 3, which is the argument of complex number. Therefore the polar form we can write it as minus 1 plus I root 3 is equal to r. R is nothing but 2 times cos theta, that is cos of 2 pi by 3 plus I sin of 2 pi by 3. It's argument of z. This is argument of the complex number z is 2 pi by 3. Okay, 2 times cos of 2 pi by 3 plus I sin 2 pi by 3 is a polar form. Okay, thank you. Write the argument of minus I. The complex number minus I is 0 plus of minus 1 times I. So it represents a point 0 comma minus 1, which is on negative y-axis. So here is the point 0 comma minus 1 locates. And we know that the argument of any point on positive x-axis is 0. So argument is 0, and in the argument of any point on positive y-axis is pi by 2. We can say pi by 2. And argument of any point on the negative x-axis is pi. And argument of the negative y-axis will be taken as a minus pi by 2, because argument theta, which will be lying between minus pi to plus pi. So therefore we can consider here argument of minus I, which is equal to, it's lying on the negative axis, so we can take minus pi by 2. Also this problem can be solved by using the polar form. The polar form of complex number z is equal to a plus ib. Its polar form is r of cos theta plus I sin theta, where theta is an argument, r is equal to mod z, and argument of z is theta. So here z is equal to complex number minus I, that is 0 plus of minus 1 into I. So therefore its r is equal to mod z, which is equal to root over 0 square plus minus 1 whole square, which is equal to 1, because we consider r positive. And now when comparing polar form with the given complex number, so we have r cos theta is equal to 0 and r sin theta is equal to minus 1. So r cos theta is 0 means r is equal to 1, so cos theta is equal to 0 and sin theta is equal to -1. So cos theta 0 and sin theta is -1. This is possible for cos of minus pi by 2 is equal to 0 and sin of minus pi by 2 is also equals to 0. Sorry, -1. Sin of minus pi by 2 is -1. So we can consider the argument of minus I, which is nothing but minus pi by 2. But even though, so we can consider for theta is equal to 3 pi by 2. For 3 pi by 2 also we'll get the same answer. But since argument lies between minus pi to plus pi, so we will consider the answer as minus pi by 2. Okay. Right, thank you. Write the least positive integral value of n for which 1 plus I upon 1 minus I whole power n is real numbers. So let us simplify first. What is 1 plus I upon 1 minus I? So we can write 1 plus I upon 1 minus I, multiply and divide with its conjugate, that is 1 plus I upon 1 plus I, so which is equal to 1 plus I whole square upon 1 plus I into 1 minus I, that is 1 square minus I square, that is 1 plus I whole square is 1 square plus I square plus 2 into 1 into I upon 1 I square is -1, so 1 minus of -1. So we can write 1 I square value is -1 plus 2I upon 1 minus of -1, that is 1 plus 1. So which is equal to 2I upon 2, which is equal to I. So we got 1 plus I upon 1 minus after simplification, I value. So now 1 plus I upon 1 minus I whole power n is a real number. What is the least value of least positive integral value of the least positive integral value of n for which it is a real number? So 1 plus I upon 1 minus I whole power n is equal to I to the power of n. Since we know that I to the power of 1, because it's we need to start from the least positive integrals. So I power 1 is 1, I to the power of 1 is 1, I to the power of 2 is -1, so I to the power of 3 is minus I to the power of 4 is +1. So we can see that I to the power of 1 is I, which is not real, and I square is equal to -1, which is a real number. So 2 is the smallest positive integer, and whereby you are getting -1. So we can consider therefore n is equal to 2. This is the least positive integral for which I to the power of 2 is -1, which is a real number. Okay, right, thank you. Find the principal argument of 1 plus I root 3 whole square. So let us simplify first by using a plus b whole square formula. So we can add 1 square plus I root 3 whole square plus 2 into 1 into I root 3. So which equals to 1 plus I square value is -1 and root 3 whole square is 3. So 1 minus 3 plus 2 root 3 I. So which is equal to -2 plus 2 root 3 I. Let us write in polar form, that is r cos theta plus r sin theta, r cos theta plus I r sin theta. So we have r cos theta is equal to -2 and r sin theta is equal to 2 root 3, and where r is equal to modulus of the complex number mod z, which is equal to root over -2 whole square plus 2 root 3 whole square, which is equal to root of 4 plus 4 3s are 12, so which is 16. Square root of 16 is plus or minus 4, so we consider 4 because r is positive, so that r is equal to 4. We got 4 cos theta is equal to -2 and 4 sin theta is equal to 2 root 3. So cos theta is equal to -2 upon 4 and sin theta is equal to 2 root 3 upon 4. So that is cos theta is equal to minus 1 by 2 and sin theta is equal to root 3 upon 2. So cos theta is negative and sin theta is positive. So it is in the theta in the second quadrant. Theta belongs to quadrant 2. And let us find the acute angle. Since sin theta is equal to root 3 by 2, so whereby we can write sin pi by 3. Sin 60 degrees is root 3 by 2. So alpha is equal to pi by 3 is the acute angle. And hence, since it is in the second quadrant, since we know that in first quadrant is alpha, second quadrant pi minus alpha, third quadrant minus pi plus alpha, and fourth quadrant minus alpha. That's a principal argument. So we can consider argument of given number, argument of 1 plus I root 3 whole square will be taken as pi minus alpha, that is pi by 3. So which is equal to 2 pi by 3. So 2 pi by 3 is the answer. Okay, thank you. Find z complex number if mod z is equal to 4 and argument of z is equal to 5 pi by 6. Let z is equal to r of cos theta plus I sin theta. So where r is equal to mod z and theta is the argument. Argument of z is theta. And here it is given theta is equal to 5 pi by 6, that is argument of z is given 5 pi by 6 and r is equal to mod z is also given. So therefore our complex number we can write it as z is equal to r, that is 4 times of cos 5 pi by 6 plus I sin 5 pi by 6. So we can write 4 times cos of 5 pi by 6 is pi minus pi by 6 plus I sin of pi minus pi by 6. So which is equal to 4 times cos pi minus theta is in second quadrant, cos is negative, so we can write minus cos theta, and sin pi minus theta is plus sin theta. Sin is positive in the second quadrant, so it is cos pi by 6 minus cos pi by 6 we can write, and this is plus I sin pi by 6, so which equals to 4 times of minus cos 30 degrees, pi by 6 is 30 degrees, that is root 3 by 2 plus I sin 30 degrees is 1 by 2. Second and here 1 by 2. So we can take out common 4 by 2 of minus root 3 plus I, that is 2 times of minus root 3 plus I, or we can also write it as minus 2 root 3 plus 2I. Minus 2 root 3 plus 2I is the answer. Okay, thank you. If mod of z minus 5i is equal to mod of z plus 5i, then find the locus of z. Let z is equal to x plus iy, so that mod of z minus 5i we can write it as mod of x plus iy minus 5i equals to modulus of x plus iy plus 5i. So that is, we can write it as mod of x plus y minus 5 times of I is equal to modulus of x plus I times of y plus 5. Now applying the mod, since modulus of a plus ib is equal to root over a square plus b square, so we can write here x square plus y minus 5 whole square is equal to x square plus y plus 5 whole square. So which implies here x square gets cancelled. So we can write here y minus 5 whole square is y square minus 10y plus 25 equals to y square plus 10y plus 25. So again y square gets cancelled and 25, so you are getting minus 10y or minus 20y is equal to 0, or we can write simply y is equal to 0. So and hence we can say the locus of z is y is equal to 0, means which is representing x axis, or we can say real axis. Hence locus is real axis, and this can also be done geometrically. Since the points are given here, the left side, that is z minus 5y, so which means that z minus of, it's like a complex number, we can write 0 plus 5y. The distance between the complex number z and 0 comma 5 is same as the distance between the complex number z minus of, we can write 0 minus 5y. So what is the point here? The point is nothing but 0 comma 5, and here the point is 0 comma minus 5. So these points located as 0 comma 5 will be on the positive axis, say this is P, and 0, this is 0 comma 5, and 0 comma minus 5 on the negative y-axis, say the point here 0 comma minus 5. And there is a complex number, we need to find the locus of that complex number such that the distance between these 2 points is always same. So where do we find the distance between these 2 points in the locus of the point, moving point, such that it is distance whose distance is same, that's nothing but the perpendicular between them. So what is the perpendicular line between the 0 comma 5 and 0 comma minus 5 is nothing but passing through origin 0 comma 0, that is real axis. Means you take any point on this, you take any complex number z such that the distance between these two will be always same. You take anywhere on the axis, we will find the distance is same, and hence we can say that by geometrically also we can say it's a real axis. Okay, right. Thank you. If a square plus 1 whole square upon 2a minus I equals to x plus iy, then find the value of x square plus y square. So given a square plus 1 whole square upon 2a minus I is equal to x plus iy. So let us apply modulus, take modulus on both the sides. So we have mod of a square plus 1 whole square upon 2a minus I equals to mod of x plus iy. So we had a square plus 1 whole square upon, so modulus of 2a minus I is nothing but under root of 2a whole square, that is 4a square, plus of minus 1 whole square is 1, which equals to root over x square plus y square. Now squaring on both sides, so we'll have a square plus 1 whole power 4 upon 4a square plus 1, which equals to x square plus y square. Therefore we can write x square plus y square is equal to a square plus 1 whole power 4 upon 4a square plus 1. Okay, right. Thank you. Write the value of root of minus 25 into square root of minus 9. Before solving this problem, let us remember root a into root b, which is not equals to root of ab when both a and b are negative integers. When both a and b are negative, even real numbers we can write. So in this case, root of minus 25 and root of minus 9 both are negative numbers, so we cannot apply this property. So let us simplify it. Square root of minus 25 into square root of minus 9, so which can be written as root 25 into root of minus 1 into again root of minus 9, we can write it as root of 9 into root of minus 1. So 1 is positive and 1 is negative minus 1. So we can apply this 25. Root of 25 into root of minus 1, we can root of minus 25. That's no problem. So root 25 is 5 and root of minus 1 is, since we know that I square is equal to minus 1, I is equal to root of minus 1. So we can write this is I, and again root of 9 is 3 and again root of minus 1 is I. So we can write 5 3s are 15, I into I, that is I square. So I square value is minus 1, so we had answer minus 15. So root of minus 25 into root of minus 9 is minus 15. Okay, right. Thank you. Write the sum of the series I plus I square plus I power 3 and so on up to 1000 terms. So the sum required I power 1 plus I power 2 plus I power 3 and so on up to I to the power of 1000. And since we know that I to the power of 4n is equal to 1, I to the power of 4n plus 1 is equal to I to the power of 4n plus 2 is equal to I square, that is minus 1, I to the power of 4n plus 3 is equal to I to the power of 3, that is minus, this is 4n plus 2 is minus 1, I to the power of 4n plus 2 is I square, that is minus 1, and I to the power of 4n plus 3 is minus I. So if you add all this, the sum of this I to the power of 4n plus I to the power of 4n plus 1, I to the power of 4n plus 2 plus I to the power of 4n plus 3, which equals to 0. The sum is always equals to 0, which means that the powers of I, the consecutive numbers, the 4 consecutive powers of I is always equals to 0. So here I to the power of 1, 2, 3 and so on up to 1000, these are consecutive numbers, and 1000 is also divisible by 4. So we can write this as I to the power of 1 plus I to the power of 2 plus I to the power of 3 and plus I to the power of 4. This is one set, and again I to the power of 5 plus I to the power of 6 plus I to the power of 7 plus I to the power of 8 plus and so on, I to the power of 997 plus I to the power of 998 plus I to the power of 999 plus I to the power of 1000. So we will be getting all the set of 4, since exactly 1000 is divisible by 4, 1000 is divisible by 4, so 250 terms will be there. So we will be getting 1 plus I plus I square plus I power 3 plus I power 4 is 0, I power 5 plus I power 6 plus I power 7 plus I power 8 will be 0, they are consecutive and so on, in the last 0. This totally the sum is 0. So this here we will be having 250 times, 0 to 50 times will be there, so the answer is 0 anyhow. Okay, right. Thank you. Write the value of argument of z plus argument of z bar, conjugate of z. Let argument of z, which is equal to theta, let us consider. So when the case 1, let us consider when theta belongs to the quadrant 1, then z bar, z lies in, that is z lies in first quadrant and its conjugate z bar lies in quadrant fourth one. Since we know that conjugate is always, it's a mirror image under the real axis. If z is here, then the mirror image of complex number z under the real axis will be its conjugate. That is, if z is equal to x plus iy, then z bar is equal to x minus iy. Means here real part will be the same and only imaginary part sign will change. So if it is plus y, it changes to minus y. Even if it is taken in the second quadrant, if z is in the second quadrant, then its conjugate will be in third quadrant, or if it is in the third quadrant, its conjugate will be in the second quadrant. If it is in the fourth quadrant, then its conjugate will be in the first quadrant. So that if z lies in the quadrant 1, then z bar lies in the quadrant 4, so that the argument of z will be taken as theta, then argument of z bar, since it is in the fourth quadrant, so we'll take minus theta, so that the sum is argument of z plus argument of z bar is equal to 0. So even if you consider in the second quadrant, when theta belongs to the second quadrant, then z argument of z is equal to pi minus theta, then argument of z bar is equal to minus pi plus theta, and again the sum is nothing but argument of z plus argument of z bar, which is equal to pi minus pi 0 and minus theta plus theta is 0. So we can get the answer 0. And even in the third quadrant is similar to this second one, we can say. Let me write that third case. When theta belongs to quadrant 3, then argument of z will be taken minus pi plus theta, then argument of z bar, because z bar will be lying in second quadrant, so minus, this is pi minus theta, so that the sum is equals to 0. Even if you consider the fourth quadrant, when theta belongs to the fourth quadrant, so that is argument of z is equal to minus theta, then argument of z bar is equal to, it will be in the first quadrant, so we'll consider theta. So again the sum will be equals to 0. So in any case, either the complex number is in the first quadrant or second quadrant or any quadrant, so in any case we can consider, if suppose if it is on the real axis, so it will be the same, and if it is on the negative real axis also it will be the same. So in that case we can consider argument of z is equal to, this is 0, or here argument of z is equal to, here pi we can say. So finally we can give the answer, the value of argument of z plus argument of z bar will be equals to 0. If mod of z plus 4 is less than or equals to 3, then find the greatest and least values of mod of z plus 1. So mod of z plus 1, we can write it as modulus of z plus 4 minus 3. And we know that z1 minus z2 mod is always less than or equals to mod of z1 plus mod of z2. So whereby this we can also write it as less than or equals to mod of z plus 4 by considering this as z1, and say this is real number is z2 plus mod of minus 3, or we can add 3. So which equals to, and we know that mod of z plus 4 is less than or equals to 3. So we can add this less than or equals to 3 plus modulus of 3 is 3. So 3 plus 3 is 6. So we can add mod of z plus 1 is less than or equals to 6. And also we know that modulus is always greater than or equals to 0. So we can add here 0 less than or equals to mod of z plus 1 less than or equals to 6. So the least value is 0 and the greatest value is 6. Least value is 0, greatest value is 6. Okay, right? Thank you. For any two complex numbers z1 and z2 and any two real numbers a comma b, find the value of az1 minus bz2 mod square plus modulus of az2 plus bz1 square. Let us recall the property. Z into z bar is equal to mod z square. So we can write here az1 minus bz2 modulus whole square, we can write it as az1 minus bz2 into conjugate of az1 minus bz2, so which is equal to az1 minus bz2 of a times of z1 bar minus b times of z2 bar. So which equals to, let's multiply a times of a into a, that is a square, z1 into z1 bar minus a into b z2 into z1 bar, and again minus ab z1 into z2 bar plus b square into z2 into z2 bar. So a square into z1 into z1 bar is nothing but mod of z1 square, and here we can take minus ab of z1 z2 bar plus z2 z1 bar plus again b square of mod of z2 square. So this is the first one. Let us simplify similarly the second one. Mod of az2 plus bz1 mod whole square is equal to, so we can write this as az2 plus bz1 into conjugate of az2 plus bz1 conjugate, which is equal to, we can write here, a times of z2 plus b times of z1 into az2 bar plus b times of z1 bar. So let's multiply this again, a square z2 into z2 bar, z2 into z2 bar, and again plus b into a, that is ba z1 into z2 bar plus a into b z1 bar into z2 plus b square z1 into z1 bar. So here we can write a square into mod of z2 square, and again plus ab, if I take ab common, z1 z2 bar plus z2 z1 bar plus again b square of mod of z1 square. Say let us take this as the second one. So by adding this both, adding 1 and 2, you will get mod of az1 minus bz2 square plus mod of az2 plus bz1 square is equal to, so we can find here plus ab times and minus ab term get cancelled. So here a square of z1, if I take a square common, mod of z1 square plus mod of z2 square, and again here plus b square terms of mod of z2 square plus mod of z1 square. So we can take out common z1 square plus z2 square common, so we can write into a square plus b square. So we can give the answer as a square plus b square of mod of z1 square plus mod of z2 square. Okay, right. Thank you. Write the conjugate of 2 minus I upon 1 minus 2i whole square. Conjugate means we will take the bar, and since we know that the property z1 upon z2 conjugate is equal to z1 conjugate upon z2 conjugate, so we can write this as 2 minus I upon conjugate of 1 minus 2i whole square, and also we know that conjugate of z power n is equal to conjugate of z whole power n. So this can be written, conjugate of 2 minus I is, we can write 2 plus I upon, and here we can write 1 minus 2i conjugate whole square we can write, so which is equal to 2 plus I upon 1 plus 2i whole square. So we can write 2 plus I upon 1 plus 2i whole square is 1 plus 2i whole square plus 2 into 1 into 2i, that is 4i. So which is equal to 2 plus I upon 1, 2i whole square is minus 4 plus 4i, which is equal to 2 plus I upon minus 3 plus 4i. So let's multiply and divide with its conjugate. Minus 3 minus 4i upon minus 3 minus 4i, so which is equal to 2 into minus 3, that is minus 6, and again minus 3i, and again minus 8i, and minus 4i square upon in the denominator, minus 3 into, it is like in the form of a plus b into a minus b, that is minus 3 whole square plus of minus 4i whole square, so which equals to, so minus 6, and here 4i square value is minus 1, I square is minus 1, so minus 1 minus plus 4, minus 6 plus 4 will come here minus 2, and minus 3 minus 8 will come minus 11i upon minus 3 whole square is 9, and here it is 4i square is 16 into minus 1, that is plus 16 we can write. So we had minus 2 upon 16 plus 9, 25, and again minus 11 upon 25 times of I. So this is the answer. It's a conjugate of 2 minus a upon 1 minus 2a whole square. Okay, thank you. If n belongs to n natural numbers, then find the value of I to the power of n plus I to the power of n plus 1 plus I to the power of n plus 2 plus I to the power of n plus 3. So here we can write I to the power of n plus I to the power of n into I. We can add I to the power of n into I square plus I to the power of n into I to the power of 3. So we can take out I power n common. So we can add 1 plus I square plus I power 3. So that is I power n times of 1 plus I square is minus 1, I power 3 is minus I. So plus I minus I, plus 1 minus 1 get cancelled. So this is I power n into, so this is I power n into 0. So which is equal to 0 is the answer. Or else we can also remember, since we know I to the power of 4n plus I to the power of 4n plus 1 plus I to the power of 4n plus 2 plus I to the power of 4n plus 3, which is always equals to 0. Hence for any powers of I, consecutive powers, 4 consecutive powers will be equals to 0. So here also n and n plus 1, n plus 2 and n plus 3 are their consecutive powers, so that their sum must be equals to 0. Okay, right. Thank you. Find the real value of a for which 3i to the power of 3 minus 2a into I square plus 1 minus a of I plus 5 is a real. Since I to the power of 3 is minus I, so we can write minus 3i, and minus 2 into I square is minus 1 plus 1 into I minus a into I plus 5. So this is minus 3 plus 1, that is minus 2i minus ai, and again here minus or minus plus 2a plus 5. So we can write this as 2a plus 5 plus of I times of minus 2 minus a, and this complex number is given real. If this is real number, so its imaginary part must be equals to 0. So if I take this as z, so imaginary part of z must be equals to 0, that is minus 2 minus a equals to 0. So we can write minus a is equal to 2 or a is equal to minus 2. So the value of a is minus 2, right? Thank you. If modulus of z is equal to 2 and argument of complex number z is pi by 4, then find the complex number z. Let z is equal to r of cos theta plus I sin theta, where argument of z is theta, which is given pi by 4, and r is equal to modulus of z, which is given 2. So let us substitute here, z is equal to r is nothing but 2 times of cos pi by 4 plus I sin pi by 4, that is 2 times of cos pi by 4 is 1 by root 2 plus I sin pi by 4 is 1 by root 2. So we can take out 2 by root 2 common, 1 plus I, or we can also let us multiply and divide with root 2 here. So this is 2 root 2 upon 2 times of 1 plus I, which is equal to root 2 of 1 plus I. So this is the complex number. Okay, thank you. Write the argument of 1 plus I root 3 into 1 plus I into cos theta plus I sin theta. Since we know that argument of z1, z2 and so on zn is equal to argument of z1 plus argument of z2 plus and so on argument of zn. So here let us consider z1 is equal to 1 plus I root 3 and z2 is equal to 1 plus I and z3 is equal to cos theta plus I sin theta. So z1 we can also write it as multiply and divide with 2. So 1 by 2 plus I times of root 3 by 2, and z2 we can write it as multiply and divide with root 2. So root 2 times of 1 upon root 2 plus 1 upon root 2 I. So z1 we can write 2 times of 1 by 2 and root 3 by 2 we can find in angle cos 60 degrees and sin 30 degrees. So we can write it as cos pi by 3 plus I sin pi by 3, and for z2 we can write root 2 times of cos pi by 4 plus I sin pi by 4, and clearly we can say the argument of each complex number. So argument of z1 is equal to pi by 3 and argument of z2 is equal to pi by 4 and argument of z3 is equal to, it is given theta. So therefore argument of the three complex numbers z1, z2, z3 is equal to argument of z1 plus argument of z2 plus argument of z3. So which equals to this is pi by 3 plus pi by 4 plus theta. So which equals to, taking LCM, pi by 3 plus pi by 4, that is 7 pi by 12 plus theta. So 7 pi by 12 plus theta is the answer. Okay, right, thank you. Please like, share, subscribe and support us. Thank you.